Barrington Firearms and Training Center, DW2 Drywall, Michigan ADOS, the Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus, and Paris Auto Sales.
There's a man named Pat Curry, he's got a...
Okay, we know this part.
Yeah, we know this part.
You can sing along at
we
home.
We want to get to the show.
Yeah.
Are we on, Bob?
Yeah, we're on. I'm turning my mic off, and it's all yours for
God bless
3,
you.
4,
Sorry
5,
we're late,
6
folks, but
Bye, everybody. I'm going now.
Prior to Bob and I coming on here, I wanted to play The Little Man because I just love that song. That's one of my top 10 of all-time songs, and it's all about the little businessman in the town of Big Rapids and all the other small towns across the country that are run by your neighbors, your local farmers. I mean, just you look at Johnson's Hardware. It said Johnson's Hardware, and as soon as he says Johnson's Hardware, downtown there's Judson's Hardware back in the day, and we had the Toggery, we had Town and Country, the Broomsmas,
Collegiate Shop.
Yeah, who had that? Kemp?
Bill Morrow.
Bill Morrow.
We had Gilbert's.
Yeah, Toggery.
Yeah, that was Dick Kemp and Don Thompson
and Nori Gilbert. And then you had across the street Mr. Schultz. I think Carl Depew. That was his first job at Burton Bootery.
Burton Bootery was down on the other side of the road.
Yeah. Very good, Pete. We got 88-year-old Pete Kent. He's my hero. He was just saying earlier coming out here that he is half again his age of my son Matt. Matt said he's 43. Pete says, heck, you're only half my age. You know, you got 43 more years to go to get me actually
45 more years.
45, wow. But it's been a great life.
Oh, yeah, been a great run.
And I bet you we're going to give you a few minutes here to thank Jeannie Fribley.
I want to thank Jeannie Fribley. I love her to death. And I also want to thank the boys from Cadillac FedEx. You guys always listen to 103.9. And you know what? You always say Pat Curry is incredible, and I want you to keep listening. But I do want to say I was at church Sunday at Mass, and Nancy Bowman came out. And I said, well, how's Pat doing? And I hadn't seen Pat in just a little bit, and they're dear friends. Pat he almost had a widowmaker. He almost died. And I just want to say God bless Pat and Nancy. I love you guys to death. They're out at Canadian Lakes. And then the other one at Horsehead Lake are Greg Adams and Kathy. I love them to death. They have Stonehouse Vineyards. And, they are really, really good people. But, the one thing I do want to say is I went out the other night, and I wanted to have a little bit of something to eat. So I went to that Crusted Creations, Pat, right by my subdivision, Golfview. Yep. And I had some wings there. Best kept secret in town. They got a great little bar, great wings, and great pizza. So you want to make sure you stop in there. And Pat, I got a few more things to say, but you go ahead and talk. No.
You're 88.
Well, I did want to say, I've been on the school board for about 16, 17 years, and probably the oldest school board member in the state of Michigan. And I was president. My term ends this year. And, I would kind of like to ask the people what they think. I feel pretty good at 88. And my term expired almost, I'm 90. But should I commit to another 6 years? I don't know. I'd be 96. And I'd kind of like to stay on until I was 100. But my mind's sharp. My body is a little bit, a little giveaway. Pat had to help me in. God bless the Curries. I go to get gas this morning, and they pump my gas, and they check my tires, they check my oil, they get my coffee. Where else? I don't care if I got to pay $10 a gallon. Where else would I go beside Curry's for gasoline?
I don't know about that.
No, Pat. Pat's being modest here. Those boys take care of me, Matt and Adam and Pat Curry. Pat's done a great job on his sons, and I'm just so proud to really know him. Really. Well, but the last thing I want to say, I play euchre out at the Johnstons, Rick and Deb, every Tuesday night, and we've been playing out there. But I also been playing, that's out at Horsehead Lake, but I've been playing a little bit of euchre with you on Monday night at the Sawmill.
Right.
And Pat Curry is one of the best euchre players in the city of Big Rapids.
Yeah, right.
And Abby, he comes in there, he does well. But that's about all I have to say. So,
Well,
you know.
I know people.
Oh my God, that's all you've got to. Oh.
I'm sorry, Bob.
No, we want you to say more.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Just getting started here.
Before we get started this morning, folks, back years ago, I don't know how many years we've been doing this, but it's been a lot of fun, and I want to thank Dom and Jim for including this on the 1039. But back in the day, and I've said it before, but I want to hear it one more time from Pete, 88 years old. I make him do it every year, and now this is the closeout of the year, and I'm not sure I did it this year, but our only sponsor at the time was one sponsor. And every Tuesday morning you got on there and you were so...
And that was Bob Ford.
Yeah, and that's history too, and that's the little man. Just the little man. Alan Jackson's song, folks, that you just came on or listening right now, one of my favorite all-time songs is The Little Man. It's about the little town of Big Rapids, and that kind of goes with what I want to talk a little bit about these people today that made the little town. This last week or so, we've lost some very, very good, dear friends of ours. I'll just start at the top of the list because the lady, Donna Mishler. Donna comes from a family that she made herself, along with her husband, David. Wonderful daughter, wonderful son. He's a father of 2 or 3 kids now. He married Woody Woodard, Tim Woodard's daughter. You know, and backing up a little bit, it goes back to Grant Watson, Woody's grandpa. He was a starting gate guy at the Big Rapids Mecosta County Fair for many, many years. I remember going up to his gate when I was a kid, and I remember going up to it when I was 45, 50 years old. Grant lived to be an older gentleman, thank God. But anyway, he'd bring Timmy over here, and Tim got to make a relationship with John Taylor and all of us at the horse barns and went to Ferris State. Got his degree and went to work for Wynn's Boats up in Cadillac as a designer, I believe it was. And anyway, he brought his wife with him, and she ends up being a pharmacist. And then they have 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. And the oldest daughter, Elena, married Donna's son. And they reside out there in Barton Township, I believe it is. But she touched a lot of people's lives. I mean, she was a banker with Chemical Bank for many years. You probably remember that. She was upstairs at her desk and didn't get up there much, but whenever I did, she was the first one you saw, and she always greeted with you beautiful eyes, beautiful smile. She was just loving life. She had a good job. Dave worked at a few different jobs. He was, first time I met him when he was a little kid there on Waterloo Street. One of the Mishlers right there in the corner, Farnsworth and Waterloo. But he ended up working at Frank Woods, I think at Carriage Motors. But anyway, he was a good service writer and finally had enough of the public and went into work for Hayworth, I think. But they lived out there on Oak Road in their dream house and their farm that they had out there. And she was very much involved with the 4-H back in the day with, I think Sandy Carey was in that group, and Lisa Volker. I know those two are very good friends of hers. And she did a real nice job down there because she loved doing it. And I guess if you love doing it, it's pretty easy. But, you know, she was a faithful servant, belonged to St. Peter's for a long, long time. And she'll be remembered there today at, I believe at 11:30 today is their service. 10 o'clock is their visitation. There'll be a lot of people there. What can I say except that we're going to miss her, and we're just grateful to be a friend of hers, you know. Then you have Mike DePue's service was yesterday. A lot of my cousins from St. Agnes couldn't be there because the bridge was closed. A lot of my friends and cousins down in Granville area, the Bakers, they couldn't be there because of the road conditions. So it was kind of a short or smaller funeral, but it would have been huge if it had been a good.
Did Father Dan do that funeral?
Yeah.
I didn't go to it, Pat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he did a great job. Yeah. It's pretty tough. He's lost 4 brothers.
Yep.
Tom and Carl and Ronnie and now Mike. But I grew up with those guys, and we have a lot of memories out there. And my greatest memory is playing ball. You know, it's kind of funny. We milk cows out there and we put hay up. But my greatest memory is going to summer school with Tom on the bus wearing our sandals that we were so proud of that had cow manure on them that the teacher said we can't wear those here anymore. I remember those days, but just great memories. And I've been very blessed with a family that hard-working people. Mike was. He worked at Ferris. He respected him up there big time. He was in the HVAC program and took care of all the heating and cooling up there in the dorms and all that. And seen him at the visitation. It was quite large the night before the funeral, and reminiscing with the guys that worked with him. And I can't mention them all, but they all had nothing but praise for him. He was a jokester at work, but he was a hard worker, and just didn't know anybody didn't like Mike. You knew him pretty good, didn't you?
Yep.
Married Sally Knopf and had a couple of kids, Amy and Mike. And I feel sorry for his wife there. She's a Knopf, Sally, and married over 50 some years. It seems like yesterday they got married, but he's gonna be missed, that's for sure. And then John Fry, Teresa Fry, we had her on the radio here last week, and she was talking how grateful she was to be an immigrant, more or less. They were when they came here, and out of Chicago, I think she said, I'm not sure, but Teresa's very, very important now to the history of Grant Center, and we talked about that, and her kids, and how grateful she was, and talked about her childhood days and all that. And then little did we know, within a week her son John would pass. He had cancer, and it got to him, and too young. He graduated from Reed City in 79, so that makes him 64, 65 years old. You look at you and I at our age, and you get past 70 and you're on Bauer time, aren't you?
Yep.
And you definitely are on Bauer time. You're 88, but Bob's not there yet. But John was a good man. I knew him real well from the gas station. He worked at Burnups there and drove trucks for them. But before that, he did a lot. He was in the sawmill business, I think he was, and just a very knowledgeable young man. He was a United States Marine. What more can I say?
Tough boys.
What a tribute.
Tough.
Mm-hmm. Worst thing you want to do is lose your child or grandchild. And my Lord, Teresa, our prayers and thoughts are with you. I know just a wonderful lady, and just like I say, just keep Teresa and her family in your prayers. Ralph Manting, we'll talk about Ralph for a minute. He's kind of the unsung hero of Big Rapids. He's related to the family that started the Hanchets manufacturing. Employed a lot of people at one time, and he could have retired years ago. He was probably 80s, pretty much in the 80s, wasn't he?
Think so, yeah.
Yeah, you could look it up, Bob, if you wanted to, but it doesn't matter. He was a good friend of mine. He was very loyal to the Curries. Back in the Judson days, and I say that, you had insurance with Schuberg's. You went to Judson's Hardware, you went to Brown's Barbershop, or you went to Downtown Barbershop.
How about Peace Cleaners, 1 hour Martinizing?
Yeah. You went there, and there are just a lot of old names back then.
Yep.
Everybody knew everybody, and the old folks did.
And supported each other.
Yeah, and there's young people, too, out there that still support the locals, that's for sure. But not as many as there was back in the old days.
Loyalty.
We just don't have we still have that community. I'll drop it at that. But anyway, Ralph was one of those guys I appreciated being friends with him. He was very colorful. I went to see him in Grand Rapids when he was sick, and he still was smiling. He was laying there, so I don't know why the good Lord hasn't taken me, Pat. My body's done, but my spirit's still here. So I guess that's why. But he was a very spiritual man. Loved his family. Would help. He was a KC. He just did a lot of things. He helped at the breakfasts at the church there. He sat in that front right pew with his wife Judy for many, many years until he lost her, and he continued as long as he could. But he had his ticker was getting bad, and his body was getting ate up, and the good Lord said, come home, And
his mind was very sharp,
Yeah.
though,
And but anyway, he stayed on. This is how loyal he was to his employees. He could have closed up Hanchets when they sold, but instead he reinvested up north there at the old Michigan Craft building and put his manufacturing plant up there. To this day, there's some pretty good guys working up there yet. So he couldn't do that to his health. He just said, nope, we're going to stay in business as long as I'm alive, and hopefully they'll continue that legacy of his manufacturing up there at Hanchets. Great guy. Last but not least, and I know I'm probably missing a few people, but Jack Cooley, he passed away here this last week, and boy, Jack did it all. I guess if I look at Jack Cooley, at his life, in one word, it was smile. Jack had a genuine smile. I don't know if I ever seen him frown. I'm sure Dan Spadowski or a few of his very, very dear friends saw it frown, but Jack was always positive. I wish I could be more positive sometimes, but as I get older, I just kind of get like down. These guys at the table, like this morning, he says, "Wow, what are you so depressed about?" I said, "I'm not really depressed. I'm kind of fearful for what the world's going through right now. In my lifetime, I've been luckier than heck. I'm 72 years old. I've made a good living, but to see what's going on in the world today, folks, if you don't get a hold of your congressman, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. You know, we sit here in this little town of ours, Big Rapids, and we got a security blanket sitting around us. It's called a Sheriff's Department, Ferris PD, City Police. We got State Police. But more importantly, we only got about 7,000 people. And I know some people sit here and say, "Oh, we're too small. We got to grow. We got to grow." Well, let me tell you, growing ain't all what it's led up to.
You got to have good growth, Pat.
Yeah.
Good growth.
Well, we won't go there. Here, I'm talking about you, Jack.
But I want to say something about Jack.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
We sitting in Curries at the Coffee Clutch, and Jack said to me, he made a beautiful, beautiful fire truck out of junk, and then he also made a grill. Oh my God, it was second to none. And he would cook the prime rib or steaks or ribs, and best food I ever had in my life. And we'd have it out at his brother's house a lot of times, Jim Cooley.
Yeah.
And Jim passed away earlier. And what a great family. And Jim Cooley, his wife still plays euchre on Monday night and I didn't realize that.
Linda.
And that's Jack's sister-in-law.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a great lady. We see her every Monday night, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Canceled last night. But Jack, back when I first met him, I knew all the Coolies growing up. Well, they started with, 14 kids?
A lot of them, yeah.
And they lived out there on Chula Vista, out there on...
Yeah, sure.
By Chula, they had a Cooley farm up there where the Khaki Golf Course is now.
That's the first lot I bought from Gene Ward in Big Rapids.
Really?
And I wound up selling it to, I don't know who I sold it to, but I wound up selling it.
Yeah. But...
I gotta say WBZX Big Rapids.
Oh, it is 9 o'clock already. But
Jack Cooley's son was a heck of a football player at Big Rapids High School, too.
Yeah. Turned out to be a good man. But anyway, Jack, like the rest of the Coolies, never needed welfare. They would rake yards before they took a penny from anybody. They're a hard-working American family. That comes from the dad and mom, back in the day. Off of Hoover Road there, they lived up there. And I think the one still lives up there around the corner. But Jack had a car. He always fascinated by cars and trucks and beautiful automobiles overall. He had a Camaro, a 68 Camaro, I think. He had a blue one, he had an orange one. I remember the orange one real well. It had a pretty good sized engine, and I'm going to say 396. But back in the day, when I worked for my dad, I think I was a junior in high school, and they would have drag racing from the light at State and Maple, and the Clark station was across the street. And they would have racing from there to down to Joe's Osceola, which is down there by Van Dries.
Yeah, I remember that.
2-block, 3-block race. And then sometimes they'd go down to Benedict Manufacturing, depending how far. But anyway, they'd line up. It was 4-lane back then. They would line up there, and they would race, Bob. And old Jack, I don't think he ever got beat. And then we used to race out on 19-mile road, too, if somebody wanted to go a little bit further distance. But Jack, he a pretty good mechanic and just a beautiful car.
He could build anything. He could do anything, really.
Yeah. And
He was one of the three amigos.
Yeah. Mark Solis and Dan Spadowski.
Sure, yeah.
Can't forget Chucky. Harrison. So
But that was the fourth amigo.
fourth, yeah. Then there's the girls. But anyway, I'll remember that, and that's just history. You'll never see it again. That's kind of life we grew up in, was the Jack Cooley days. And then the other thing is he married a gal that loved horses, and Jack come off the farm, so it was easy for him to appease her with the horses there, and he just loved doing that. He met Terry Bradshaw, the quarterback from Pittsburgh. He's been to his farm down there. In fact, I think they sold a horse to Terry Bradshaw. They raced some champions right here in Big Rapids. People don't realize how many people in Big Rapids have met some high-profile people.
I've made a lot of money on your horses, Pat.
Yeah. And anyway, so my condolences to his family. I think they're going to have a service for him in the near future here. And when they do, it's going to be like a Randy Schuberg one. It's going to be packed because Jack, I mean, he worked. He worked and had fun and didn't ask for anything that he didn't deserve. And that's the American way. That's what more people should be emulating Jack Cooley's. His son, Jack Jr., he works over at DTE there. He's a top profile guy over there. People love working for him. Why? Well, because Jack Sr. showed him the way to go, how to treat people. Jack treated people well.
Sure did.
And his son does too. And now his son, the third, he's doing real well. He's out in Wisconsin. He's got a real good job with a welding firm out there. So the family done well because they had somebody that was a mentor to them, But I'll miss Jack at the breakfast table there at Curry's. He later on used to make pretty much a lot of trips over there. Dan and him were very good friends, and I've been a good friend to Jackson. And we got to talking about reminiscing the old days. But he always left you with a smile, and God bless him. I'm sure he's around the throne with the rest of those automotive car racers because he definitely was a dragster, that's for sure. God bless you, Jack. Thanks for being Big Rapids, one of the Big Rapids' finest. All right, well, that's pretty much. Why don't we take a quick break here, Bob,
Yep.
and we'll come right back after thanking our sponsors. Got a few of them, eh?
You got it. Coming up right here on Curries Corner, B1039. Pennzoil in Big Rapids is your quick-stop shop for oil changes and so much more. With certified techs and 35 years experience, they'll have you in and out in a flash. And a free car wash with every service. And don't forget about tires. As quickly as the seasons change in Michigan, it's easy to lose your grip. Luckily, Pennzoil in Big Rapids has the tires you need to dominate all seasons in Michigan. Big tires, fast tires, grippy tires, sleek tires. Go see Zach Wells at Big Rapids Pennzoil today. He'll get you back on the road and ready to roll. That's Big Rapids Pennzoil, located at 710 North State Street, or give them a call at 231-796-4730.
Dale I've known for many, many years, and I tell you what, when somebody needs some help, he's there. Just like your typical Mecosta County resident, Dale Whaley is a good American. So if you're ever looking for a drywaller for free estimate, call Dale. I'm telling you, you're going to be happy with his work. I have recommended Dale to a lot of people, and you know what the greatest compliment I've ever gotten is thanks for sending Dale. He did a great job for me. Guy's just fantastic. Just not only is a drywaller with DW2 drywalling, but just a great person. It doesn't hurt to have him come into Curry's either. There's just so many good things about Dale. He's just a great American, and give him a call, DW2 Drywall at 231-679-0475. That's right, 231-679-0475. Dale Whaley is DW2 Drywall. Greatest guy on drywalling end of it.
Sometimes crossing paths with a flying stone is inevitable. But whether you have a small chip that needs quick attention or a windshield that's beyond saving, Michigan ADA's Calibration and Glass is there to help. If your vehicle has been in an accident and you're working with insurance, they'll handle the entire process from start to finish. From windshields to back glass and even power windows, they'll see you through it. Pun intended. Save time and skip the dealership with Michigan ADA's Calibration and Glass. Same location as JR Customs and Collision, just north of 19 Mile in Big Rapids.
Where do you go for Michigan's #1 concealed pistol license course? The same place thousands of Michigan residents have over the past 15 years, the Barrington Firearms Training Center. The BFTC conducts state-certified CPL courses right here locally inside the Barrington Conservation Club at 3444 18 Mile Road in Barrington. For just $99, all you need to bring us is your Michigan ID to these all-inclusive one-day CPL courses, which include the use of firearms, ammo, eye and ear protection, coffee and donuts in the morning, and lunch at noon. That's right, just $99 gets you everything needed to take the police department instructed course that includes the training necessary to safely load, unload, handle, and store your firearm. Students will also be trained on when it is legal to defend themselves with a firearm under Michigan's Stand Your Ground law and Castle Doctrine. Call 231-250-7257 or go online at michigancpltraining.com to register for one of their upcoming $99 all-inclusive CPL courses. Get armed, get trained at the Barrington Firearms Training Center.
Paris Auto Sales is your used car center of Big Rapids. Now with 2 locations qualifications to better serve you. We know you're a hardworking individual and you need that 3/4 ton because you never know when you'll have to haul a grand piano. And for those families that keep on growing, you're going to need that third row so that your little ones can store their leftover french fries between the cushions. We've got that sport utility vehicle that's ready for the job. Paris Auto Sales, your used car center of Big Rapids.
I'm Seth Wenger from Wenger Insurance. For more than 100 years, we've been providing professional service and competitive insurance to West Michigan. Come visit us on Perry Street in Big Rapids or give us a call at 796-0778. We're here for you now, and we'll be here when you need us most. 796-0778.
When the time comes to say goodbye, you need a funeral home that understands your family's needs. The Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus have been a trusted part of this community for generations. They do take care of every family like their own, and they hear it time and time again.
My name is Christina Beers. I would say there's lots of funeral homes in the area, but there's only a small few that can do it with class and with quality and with that personal touch and care. And I would put Janowitz Family Funeral Home at the very top of that list.
Let them help guide you through a challenging time with care, respect, and compassion. The Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus. Local, professional, and here for you when it matters most.
Hooked at Curry.
Hey, I want to tell you something. Their sandwiches are incredible. But get the cheeseburger with caramelized onions. You won't ask where the beef is.
Hello, Big Rapids friends and neighbors. This is Sue Bean, your lifelong local realtor with Big Rapids Realty. As we say goodbye to another wonderful year, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of my clients, past, present, and future, for trusting me to help turn your home dreams into reality. You've made my work so rewarding, and I'm truly grateful for the friendships we've built along the way. From my family to yours, I wish you a joyful, happy new year filled with love, laughter, and new beginnings, and a prosperous 2026 full of health, happiness, and maybe even that perfect new home. If you're thinking about buying or selling in the new year, give me a call at 231-580-9546. I'd love to help. Happy New Year.
All right, Bob, we're back at 103.9 this morning. Dan Decatur, I want to first of all thank you very much from Brown's Barbershop for the nice haircut. You got both sideburns just perfect. You know, I got to tell you a little cute story about Dan. I was in a hurry getting a haircut because I wanted to go up north on vacation, right? So I said, hurry up, make a quick haircut. Instead of 10 minutes, make it 8.5. So he did, and I'm going down the road. My wife said, that one sideburns longer than the other. I said, that's a specialty. I had Dan do that this morning. I didn't give him time. But anyway, he does a great job. He's one of our sponsors, you know, down there at Brown's Barbershop, Dan Decatur, right in downtown Big Rapids. You need a haircut, doesn't matter who you are, what color hair you got, he can cut her. Does a good job. Yep. Hey, good morning, Brad Lubon.
Morning, Pat.
Your Midwest Excavating Group. What is a Midwest Excavating Group? You got a minute? Tell us real quick. Your time to shine.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, we're primarily, obviously, what the name says, excavation contractors. We focus on commercial, some residential with builders, but our main business is commercial. We got a couple of school projects we're doing this coming year down towards Grand Rapids. And been in the business since our late 80s, and my dad passed away. I bought a bulldozer off from Earl Reamer, one of our relatives from back in Metamora area, for $5,500, and he helped me finance it, and that kind of gave me a start to help things out. And then on top of that, I had a daughter, being born at an early age, I was, and it happened while I was a senior in high school, and I still was in high school that May when she was born, and went to the hospital that day, and there, Lord behold, was a state agent, and I said, well, what's she doing here? And she said, well, we're here to sign your daughter up for WIC and some other state aid things. And I said, get the hell out of there. I said, I'm going to take care of my daughter. I will pay for all of her expenses. So I took that responsibility, never thought about an abortion or anything because I'm pro-life, and she turned out to be a great girl, and she went and got her PA a couple years ago at Michigan, and she was debt free. I took the responsibility, paid for her college, and so that's where we got to start. And then I came up here working for a heavy civil road building contractor out of Leroy, Questions. And I met my wife, Krista, at St. Peter's Church, and got introduced to her eventually. And we went out on a couple of dates. Didn't really like each other at first too much. Kind of gravitated towards each other later, a few months later. And less than 5 months, we were married. And this year was our 19th anniversary, and never had a fight. And one of the reasons why I moved to Big Rapids was being a fair student. I liked the downhill ski, so I wanted an education, construction management, but I also wanted to be close to some of the ski lodges. Cabernet and Crystal were fairly close enough for me to do that as well. So that's kind of the story with that. But like I said, with excavating business, we'll do anything. We buried horses and we'll do bigger projects. But most of all, just want to do good work and be fair with everybody. And that's about it with that.
Well, you're a man of faith, aren't you, Brad? You really believe that the good Lord's, you're in His hands, and what happens to you, and you just keep on going, don't you?
Perseverance. I was telling my son that yesterday. He was telling me he wants to come into the business, and that's fine. He wants to take it to a larger step than I took it. So I'm going to give him all the tools and guidance I can possibly do, but he's going to have to learn how to take on responsibility and some of the debt load himself eventually as he matures and gets older. But yeah, speaking of faith, Donna Mishler, as you talked about earlier in the radio show this morning, I was pushing my driveway out, warming my truck up as I was getting ready to go down to Grand Rapids, and I heard that song Little Man, which speaks a lot about little towns. But Donna herself, going to St. Peter's, I go to Mass at St. Mary's, but my wife goes to St. Peter's, and I was quite close to knowing Mishers very well myself. I watched Donna and her faith as she was diagnosed with cancer, and knowing that she was terminally ill, and the way she held herself and walked and showed her faith. That's someone that we could all replicate, because she just truly knew where she was going, and she was joyful up to the last moment of her life, knowing that she was going to be with her Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. What a tremendous blessing that is to have someone in the community showing her faith like that.
Yeah,
Don't you think, Pat?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, she's just a real nice person. She's one of those people, that didn't criticize somebody else's for their belief on an issue or whatever. I don't think she did anyway.
No, not at all. I actually was telling someone that this past week about that Michelers, they're good people. They don't take sides. They treat everyone equal. And that's just because that's who they are themselves and in their faith.
Well, I think, I don't know, was her maiden name Brown? I don't know so much of Mishler, but she just did a nice job presenting herself well. She was very nice to people and didn't take a side and criticize. There was a lot of fighting going on in Big Rapids, and there's still a lot of animosity right now going on, but not as bad as it was, thank God. A lot of people, they preach the gospel, but sometimes they don't practice it. You, on the other hand, you try to practice it, don't you?
I do, Pat, and as you know, I know this you're referring to, and I had very good friends on both sides, including you, one of them. And I was just really trying to just bring the town together and trying to bring people together to talk things over, not just about that particular issue, but about politics in general. We need to learn how to come more in the middle and meet together and meet at Zotch, versus attacking one another on social media or saying this behind each other's backs. And sometimes you just got to get together down a little table at Zotz and have a few cocktails or beers or whatever you drink and solve things right there and then. And most of the time we'll find that we all have a lot of common issues together,
Little town.
But President Trump, he is doing a good job. I mean, the immigration issue, it's a tough one for all of us, obviously for different reasons. They came here, the other party let them in, and now we have to deal with that, unfortunately. And we don't like seeing everyone being taken away forcefully like what they have seen. And who knows what's right and who's wrong and what's going on for sure. The news, they just show what they want us to see. But, there are a lot of good people here that come to follow the dreams of what our ancestors came here for America for. And we're all truly blessed, and they want the blessings of those families also.
Hey, Brad, Pete, Ken, I hate to interrupt you, but you know something?